Hi paint pouring people. In November of 2017, I did a video about a Christmas wreath. I poured a Christmas wreath. Back then, a lot of people had just started pouring. We had a lot of fun. A lot of these Christmas wreaths started popping up on social media. People were doing them, and it was really a lot of fun. Now, I haven't done a Christmas wreath in a long time, so I thought I'd do another one. Christmas is right around the corner. But I wanted to do something slightly different, a slightly different approach. So I'm going to do a different technique today. It's going to be, it's going to be a Christmas wreath. It's going to be fun and colorful. And if you would like to watch the previous video from 2017, I'm going to put a link in the description below. But today it's going to be a little different. We'll see what the results are. It's a little bit of a wild card. You never quite know. So let's see what happens. What I'm going to do today is I have my cake decorating spinner that I'm going to use. I'm going to be spinning this this painting on a 12 by 12 canvas. And if you don't have a cake decorating turntable, it should be on your Christmas list. It's on my Amazon list if you want to check it out. These are really a lot of fun. Now those little plastic Lazy Susans, they don't spin like this does. This has got some weight to it. Anyway, enough about that. You'll see. If you haven't done any spinning yet, you're going to want to. But what we're going to do first is get a nice background going. A wet white background. There's no measurement here. You just have to eyeball it. You don't want it too deep. I'm going to spread this around so it's even. And then, for fun, just a little bit of gold. I'm just eyeballing. I'm looking for some thin spots. I'm using my Happy Medium paint ready to pour. You'll see all these colors I'm using. I'm going to list the colors that I'm using on this wreath today in the description below. Anyway, for now, this is white and new gold. And then before I pour the wreath, I want to make sure the background is nice and even. So I'm going to take a paper towel and swipe and mix this gold in a little. So we have kind of a fun background. All right, now, if you've watched my previous videos, you know I quite often pour out of the bottle. I want a little more control today, so I've poured my colors into a paper cup. And I like paper cups because you can pinch them and have a little more control. So I'm going to pour circles here to start the wreath. This is green, green. This is just going to be a series of different greens. And the idea here, you want your shape to be smaller, to be small, because when you spin this, it's going to get bigger. And we can always adjust it later, because it's such a wild card when you spin these things that you never quite know what you're going to get. But fear not, because you can make adjustments after you spin it and see what you want to do. I'm going to pour a little more white in the center carefully, just to see what happens. And then before I spin, I'm taking a little bit of black. This is just for contrast. Okay. Now I've got my box. What I did is I cut the bottom out of a box You need this if you're going to spin because the paint will fly. So I just made this homemade square, and then you want to check to make sure you have it centered. 12 by 12 is a good size for these spins, and you can easily get some cardboard and make yourself a box. Okay, so I'm making sure it's centered. Okay, here we go. All right. I don't like what happened with the black there. Again, it came out as a drip. So I'm gonna help it along. I'm gonna drag this black around a little and see if we can make it a little more fun. And then I also see, I want a little more of this green, which is kind of a straight green. This is more wreath-like to me than any other color. I'm going to add this and I'm going to spin it one more time. Okay, we'll see what happens. You can see the size is growing. Stop it. Ooh. It got really big. Here's what I'm going to do. This thing grew a little bit. I'm going to, let me take this box off. I'm not going to spin it anymore. Here's what I'm going to do for this one. I'm going to add some white back into the corners. This is how you save yourself. I thought it needed something and then it ended up getting a little bigger than I wanted. Now you may want a wreath this big. There's no right or wrong here. But what I had in mind was a little more white corners being saved. So I'm just going to knock it back a little bit. You can do anything you want. See, that looks much better to me. And that's actually interesting, the way this green is sort of bleeding out here. I actually kind of like that now. The other thing is, if you want, this is a little off center, if you want to try and capture it back to center, you can take your palette knife or a popsicle stick, whatever you have, and reshape it. This is actually kind of contemporary looking. I don't mind this at all. So it's slightly off center, which is okay. I like things that aren't dead center anyway. This is actually a kind of a contemporary, fun looking thing. I'm going to call that good, but we're going to top it off with some spots of red. I have some red poured in a cup, and I have my little candy apple stick so I can control what happens here. And dot some red for like little hollies or whatever. You can use any color, but I'm just going to stick with red here because it looks so good with the green. And these will probably grow a little bit, so I'm going to keep it relatively small. Put them in different places. So I'm looking at this right here. I've got enough red. This down here seems to me like it needs a bow, but I don't want to do this while it's wet because it's going to spread and it's going to get a little more out of control than I want. If you watch the older video, I had painted some bows on the wreaths after they were dry, and that is a complete option. I will probably do this with this one, but I like what's happening here. It's kind of funky. It's a little bit lopsided, but it's very Christmassy, especially with the red dots. And again, you can make it look like it's colored lights and use blue and yellow and different things. I personally like just some red. So I'm going to stop right here with the Christmas wreath. And I hope you'll give this a try. I hope you'll try spinning. If you haven't done the turntable, it's really a lot of fun. I have a heart video that I did that once you start pouring those, you just can't stop. So anyway, this is my Christmas cheer for this year, and Christmas is approaching. Even if you're watching this sometime other than Christmas, you can't do too many of these because you can decorate your whole house with them. Give them as gifts. Anyway, Merry Christmas. Check out my happymedium.fun if you would like to try my Happy Medium paint. You can either use it yourself or give it as gifts to your paint pouring friends. So it's at happymedium.fun. Also, I have an Amazon shopping list for all my favorite supplies. We will see you on social media at my Facebook group, Paint Pouring People. I hope to see some of your wreaths posted there soon. And subscribe, comment, like if you haven't already. And we will see you next time. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.